two of your contractors, students, yep, I've helped both of them. Okay, here's a little tricky one. They're not big. They're not, but, so they're remodeling contractors, right? You go, okay, carpentry code. That's usually what it is. So there's two carpentry codes. There's one that if you're framing and you're, all the heavy stuff, that rate's really, really expensive. But if you're doing trim work, it's way cheaper. And all these guys, those two especially, both of them were in the highest rated code. But I say, I look at your site. Are you doing any framing? They go, no, we sub the framing out. We don't do it. We just have finished guys. Yeah. They're doing kitchens and bathrooms. And they're doing.
Yeah, that code is much different, isn't it?
It's really different. And so.
Because they're assuming you're on ladders.
They're assuming, yeah, that's exactly right. That's a good point. You're on ladders. And these finished guys, well, they're different carpenters too. The finished guys are different than your framing guys.
Right.
So anyway, this one particular contractor that's from your class, he just had an audit from the prior carrier. So I took it over, I moved their insurance to another carrier and fixed it. That carrier came in and audited it and did the same thing. They put everybody in the highest code. And I go, send me the worksheets. And not only did that, Carmen, they had a painting contractor that, and this is another place to find mistakes, painting contractor that they paid about $100,000 that had an exemption, right? So if you're going to sub stuff out and you're my painting contractor, either you give me a certificate of insurance or your exemption.
Yeah.
And they gave the exemption, and the contract, and the auditor said, they paid you $100,000. We believe that this painter had somebody helping him.
Right.
So, okay. And so when I talked to the owner of the company, he said, yeah, she said we were over the threshold of what we paid him. So I go, what threshold is that?
Imaginary?
That's an imaginary threshold. Exactly. It's the line of death.
These sound like it's almost comparable to like if you were in court and the judge always gave you the maximum sentence.
Yeah, that's a great one. It's like that. And so when he calls me, I go, okay. So I ended up calling the auditor. I called her this morning and asked her to call me back. Because you can't just do that, right? You can't just say there's a threshold. And what they do, because NCCI rules that everybody has to go by, they say either you get a certificate or you get an exemption.
This is why this is important, because the education, just what you're saying about not taking someone's word as gold, because I hear this from my contractors who say, well, we heard that my license, I'm out of this scope, or this is, I go, wait, where'd you get this information from?
Right, yeah.
You have to go to the source. So they'll call the state and someone will answer the phone. Who answered the phone? I don't have a name. Well, what was their position? I don't know. Well, then how do you trust?
You could have had a wrong number.
That person's word.
Right, exactly.
You have got to go to, and I always say, call my lawyers, call the lawyers, ask them before you make a call to the state. First of all, you don't want to expose yourself to either the insurance company like what you're dealing with, the insurance company, or the state. Not yet. Get some professional advice from you before they make a phone call and waste time, by the way. Just at the very least, they're wasting time.
Carmen, you had somebody in your class in Sarasota. This goes back a long time ago. And I talked about this. And so it was a woman that did pools, right? And she said, boy, you're talking to me, Duke. I had a plumber that gave me an exemption. And the carrier is saying, they went over the threshold. I go, well, what did you pay this plumber? $485,000 a year. So I'm like, I want to be a plumber.
Yeah, no kidding.
So I'm not going to fight that battle because I know it's wrong. I know you had to have people there, right?
Yeah.
And so, look, if you get into this little bit.
Well, you get up to 3 exemptions, don't you?
Yeah, you get up to 3 exemptions, but this one just happened to be a plumber. Now, if this plumber was okay, that's still a lot of money for 3 guys, right? You're still looking at $150,000. They had to be working full time.
Plumbers make good money, man.
Yeah, but if that was their only job, building.
Right, there's a lot of assumptions here.
There was a lot of us. So I passed on that. Because, and I say it to the guys in your class, the guys and women in your class, I go, if somebody's cheating, I want them in jail. Because every one of those good contractors that are out there, they want the same thing because they're beating me out of work. But I got off running down our
no, it's good. It's good that you covered the last thing. So let's move on to the NCCI, because you brought that up, codes and classification errors. How do those impact the business?
So, well, first of all, we go back.
Let's explain that, because maybe people don't know.
So the classification,
the NCCI itself.
NCCI, they're like the governing body, right? They're not enforcement, but they're the governing body for insurance companies. And so they're the ones that come up with the classifications. And I sit on their classification committee.
Which is important.
It's a big deal, man. Since 2019.
It's a big deal.
It's the only way it's a big deal, because, well, first of all, they told me one time, they go, we don't make any changes based on your recommendation. So, but what they did
say. But you participate and you understand what's happening, and you're probably getting information before anybody else.
I'm getting the early stuff, right? And so on that classification committee, it started back in 19, and I don't even know, but the Department of Insurance required NCCI, they go, if you're going to introduce a new classification, we want to know about it. If you're going to make changes to existing classifications, we want to know about it. And so it's not rates, has nothing to do with that. So they send them to me. And so, they send it, I got 2 weeks, right? Then we're going to do a Teams call. And so if I have objections to these classifications, I say something to them. I'll tell you one that this is all of about 8 weeks old. This is for like the Paul Davises of the world, the remediation guys that, when you have a flood, you have a fire, you call these guys to come in.
Right.
And so they'd said that these people that are doing mold remediation, right, that they're going to put them in the asbestos abatement code.
Wow.
Now, 3.5 times the rate, right?
It's crazy.
So that's what I said. So I go, and here's why I know a little bit about it. Because we have a lot of Paul Davis and other remediation type contractors. And when I first went to a carrier about this, and they're going, oh my gosh, Duke, they're doing mold remediation. Yeah, we don't want that. So I do my homework before. So I've got at least a little bit of something to go, why don't you? Well, it's mold. And so I've already looked it all up. I cannot find one class action, WorkComp class action suit I get for mold. Now, you know what I do find a lot? Asbestos. I could never say this word, several years ago, 5 years ago, until every morning when I turn the TV on, mesothelioma.
Yeah, asbestosis.
Asbestos.
Oh, the disease, asbestosis, we talk about it in class.
Yeah.
And then you find out what it is, because I was like, okay, how does this affect you? Because this is what you would have to know with the mold. How does mold really, truly affect you? Is it really dangerous? This would be a scientific question, by the way. So to put something in a classification along with asbestos is like saying,
it's ridiculous.
What is equal to cancer?
Right. And that's what I'm saying.
Is mold equal to... It's a tough thing. It's a tough call, but is this their choice? Who's doing this? The NCCI?
This is NCCI, right? And look, I'm on the phone with these two ladies, and they're both high-level people at NCCI. And I'm going, stop, check. We're not doing that. That's not, so I go through all the research, and it's the same thing like you said. I know what asbestosis is. I know its fibers that get in your lungs, and it kills you. Mold, it can get in your system, but it's these mold spores, and it gradually works its way out. So I'm literally saying to these two ladies with NCCI, I go, I think you need to build a rate, because there's no mold classification. You need to build a rate for that. So
this is mold remediation.
Mold remediation. So if somebody, something happens and they breathe in the mold and they've got to go to the doctor and there's bills, then you start taking the payroll for people that are doing that, and you take the claims and you build a rate out. It's not fair to the business owner that you're just doing this. So when I say this, you got to hear the response. So the response is, to me, they go, Duke, do you know what our actuaries will say? Do you know what they'll say if we told them to build a rate? I go, oh, I get it. They're the bullies, right? So they're the bullies there, and everybody's afraid to go at them with something like this.
Yeah.
I go, it kind of reminds me of the chef in the kitchen, and the wait staff there, too afraid of the chef because he screams at everybody. So, look,
So these actuaries are the people they're the ones that figure the odds. They're bookies.
They do. Yeah. So I can tell you this.
What's
on
the
this.
odds of somebody getting injured or sick from mold?
From mold. That's exactly right.
I slipped on a roof because of mold, by the way. That was my worst thing that ever happened
Yeah.
with mold.
Oh.
Otherwise, I've had it in my mouth. My kids had it on their toys,
No, I
in
know,
their tubs.
I know.
Mold's everywhere.
People are breathing it in their house now.
But I think if you start promoting the dangers of mold, of course people are they love it. It's like news. It's bad news. They want to promote this to make money off of mold.
So here's what now that I know it's happening. So I literally 2 weeks later, I sent a letter to our insurance commissioner, and I said, "This is and I gave all the facts why this should not happen, and they needed to build a rate." So he's responded back to me, and he put me in front of like this, product analyst for workers' comp codes and general liability codes. So I've already got the ball rolling.
That's kind of interesting for you.
Yeah. Well, look,
they're using you as an expert.
You know what? You know what I want? I want guys doing mold remediation to call me because I want their help. I need to build a list of these guys.
And I would think you would talk to lawyers also, because the lawyers are the ones who are educated about asbestos so much because they have to fight it in court.
So here's what
they probably know about mold.
So there's an association in Orlando, and it's the Mold Remediators Association.
Right.
And so I found this guy online. I went out to him and I said, "Look, I need help." This guy gave me everything. He knows this stuff really well. And so, a lot of these contractors. Yeah. So the next step is, here's how you get stuff fixed. You march on Tallahassee with about 40 of these contractors.
You gotta make noise.
Oh, they make noise and things get shut down. So I'm doing it because we have clients that do it.
Well, I would think that there has to be someone behind this to get to the NCCI to kind of give them this information about mold, but it would ultimately have to be a scientist that would say it's
there.
Something that produces whatever.
It's there. The fact is, you can give them all this. Well, they should have that. That's why they come up with this stuff. They should have this stuff.
That's how you determine the rate. Is it dangerous? This has
Right.
been going on in my class for a long time. There's a license for this. People talk about this, and I have my doubts about mold. I'm sorry. I don't think there's a lot of issues with it. Now, if it's all over the inside of your drywall and it's growing and it's that black, it's a specific type of mold.
That's right. Yeah.
So you can't just say mold. It's got to be a specific type of mold.
Trust me, I know it.
People are eating mold.
My wife Lori, every once in a while, she's not feeling well. She goes, "I think we have mold in the house." I go, we just had it checked 3 months ago.
This is the problem.
We got mold. I go, okay, call somebody else.
This is the problem because now we start creating things that are not actually there. This whole duct cleaning thing, right? It's a big business.
Look.
We need to replace all your, show me.
Right, These guys walk in, remember Ghostbusters where they come in with this machine? It's a Ghostbuster.
I would go along with that. If I got slimed, I'd go, we got a problem.
We got a problem.